Today's lesson is about compound angle identities. Here is the formula given. For sine A plus or minus B equals sine A cosine B plus or minus cosine A sine B. How to remember? You will remember this way. Sine A plus or minus B. For sine A, I will just write down as cosine, I will write down C, then plus or minus. C stand for cosine and S. Think about the sign. This is a plus or minus. Then this part is a plus or minus. So you have the same sign here. For cosine A plus minus B equals cosine A cosine B minus plus sine A sine B. You will remember this way. Cosine A plus or minus B equals cosine cosine. I will write down CC. This is minus or plus. Sine A sine B, I write down SS. This time, check, this is a minus first, then plus. Corresponding to this is a plus first, then minus. So these two signs are opposite. For tangent A plus or minus B, you will get tangent A plus or minus tangent B. This is the same sign as this. For the bottom, 1 minus or plus tangent A tangent B. Look at the sign. This is opposite. Normally for tangent, we switch into sine and a cosine. Sine A plus or minus B over cosine A plus or minus B. Let's go to example. Use sum and difference identities to verify each reduction identities. Look at the A. Cosine 3 pi over 2 plus theta equals sine theta. So we will write down left side equals cosine 3 pi over 2 plus theta. For cosine 3 pi over 2 plus theta, we will use this formula. You will get CC minus or plus SS. So I will write down here it's a CC. This is a plus, so here is a minus SS. Therefore, I will get cosine 3 pi over 2 cosine theta minus sine 3 pi over 2 sine theta. What's the value for cosine 3 pi over 2? We will draw this coordinate plane. For this one here, we will get the coordinate 1, 0, then 0. Here it's -1, 0, 0. For this part, it's a 0, 1, undefined. This one is a 0, -1, undefined. For the unit circle, this is a CST. So remember, the coordinate is a CST. This will be 0. This will be pi over 2. This is a pi. 3 pi over 2. Then you have 2 pi here. We're looking for 3 pi over 2 will be this. So you have a CST. Cosine 3 pi over 2 equal to 0. Sine 3 pi over 2 equals -1. Tangent 3 pi over 2 is undefined. So we get this will be 0 times cosine theta minus sine 3 pi over 2 is -1. Then sine theta. 0 times cosine will be 0. Negative is a positive sine theta. So we get sine theta. This equals right side. So we finish this proving. Let's go to B. Left side. You have a tangent 3 pi minus theta. For this 3 pi, think about this. You have this is a 0, then 2 pi. Keep going, and 4 pi and 6 pi. This part is pi. Just keep adding 2 pi because one circle is 2 pi. So you have 3 pi and 5 pi. So basically, pi and 3 pi, they will have the same trig value. Whenever you verify tangent, you always use sine over cosine. So I write down sine 3 pi minus theta and a cosine 3 pi minus theta. For the sine, you will use this pattern that is SC plus or minus CS. It will be the same sign here. So you will get the SC minus CS. For cosine, look at here. You will have the opposite sign. This is a plus, then here is a minus. This is a minus, then this is a plus. Therefore, you will have CC plus SS. So we will get this. Sine 3 pi cosine theta minus cosine 3 pi sine theta. For bottom, you will get the cosine 3 pi cosine theta plus sine 3 pi sine theta. CST, cosine 3 pi is -1. Sine 3 pi is 0. Therefore, you will get this. This will be 0. This is a -1. This is a -1, and here is a 0. So you will get 0 times cosine theta is gone. Negative will be positive. Top will be sine theta. Your bottom, you will get the negative cosine theta plus 0. So sine theta over cosine theta, that is a negative tangent theta. This equals right side. So we finish proving. Let's go to question C. Sine pi over 2 plus theta equals cosine theta. So for left side equals sine pi over 2 plus theta. For sine pi over 2 plus theta, we got to use this formula. So you have SC plus CS. The sign will be the same. We can write down sine pi over 2 cosine theta plus cosine pi over 2 sine theta. For pi over 2, this is a CST. Cosine pi over 2 is a 0. This is a 0. Sine pi over 2 is a 1. So you get 1 times cosine theta plus 0 times sine theta. So that you will get the cosine theta equals right side. So we finish proving. Let's go to D. For left side equals tangent 3 pi over 2 plus theta. We will change into sine 3 pi over 2 plus theta over cosine 3 pi over 2 plus theta. For sine 3 pi over 2 plus theta, you will get SC plus CS. For cosine 3 pi over 2 plus theta, you will get CC minus SS. So we can get sine 3 pi over 2 cosine theta plus cosine 3 pi over 2 sine theta. For the denominator, you will have a cosine 3 pi over 2 cosine theta minus sine 3 pi over 2 sine theta. For the 3 pi over 2, this is the coordinate. Cosine 3 pi over 2 equals 0. Sine 3 pi over 2 equals -1. So you have this. This will be -1. This is a 0. So you have this is a 0. This is a -1. -1 cosine theta plus 0 times sine theta. For the denominator, you have 0 times cosine theta minus -1 times sine theta. 0 times sine theta is 0, so you get a negative cosine theta. For the denominator, this is a 0. Negative will be positive sine theta. Cosine theta over sine theta will be cotangent theta. So we have negative sign cotangent theta equals right side. So we finish proving.